In a world filled with noise and constant distractions, it's easy to forget the subtle yet profound guidance that comes from a higher source. For those who feel an inner pull toward a greater purpose, a message from the divine is often quietly woven into the fabric of everyday life. If you've ever felt out of sync with the world around you, like your path is uniquely different, or if you've sensed that there's a deeper, spiritual meaning to your experiences, this message is for you. You are not walking alone, and the fact that you are reading these words right now is not by accident. You may have noticed that life hasn't always followed a simple, straightforward path. Delays that saved you, encounters that redirected your course, or moments when you simply knew something, these are not mere coincidences. If you've ever felt a sense of urgency to make a decision, only to realize later that it was the best choice you could have made, or if you've experienced those quiet moments where everything seems to pause, giving you the space to make a more thoughtful choice, know this: these are not random moments. They are signs, gentle nudges from a divine source that is deeply invested in your well-being and purpose. This message is not for everyone. It's not for those who simply pass through life with little regard for their spiritual path, or for those who only seek superficial answers. This message is for those who are chosen, for those who feel that there is something greater pulling them toward a divine mission, even if the road is sometimes unclear. It is for those who are attuned to the whispers of the Spirit, those who have quietly felt the presence of something greater, guiding them through their daily lives. You are a part of a greater plan, one that is orchestrated by divine timing and purpose. Every moment in your life, no matter how small it may seem, carries significance beyond your understanding. The fact that you've made it this far and are now reading these words means that you are aligned with something much larger than yourself. You have been prepared for this moment, even if you didn't realize it. It's time to stop doubting your path and begin to trust in the divine funding that is already at work in your life. You are not alone, and you are certainly not forgotten. Heaven has been involved in your life long before you realized it, and as you read these words, you are being reminded that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. So, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and let this message settle into your spirit. You are not wandering aimlessly, and you don't have to figure everything out on your own. This journey you are on has been perfectly designed for you. It's time to let go of worry and embrace the peace that comes with knowing that God is guiding you, funding your life, and orchestrating every detail. The divine path is not a one-size-fits-all journey, it is uniquely tailored to each individual who is called to walk it. For the chosen ones, this path is often characterized by moments of deep introspection, unexpected detours, and a constant awareness of a higher presence guiding their steps. The feeling of being different, of walking to the beat of your own drum, can sometimes make you question your place in the world. But if you are reading these words, it's a sign that you are walking the divine path, a path that is led by something far greater than what the eyes can see. From the moment you were born, you were set apart for a higher purpose. Your life may not have followed the typical trajectory that most people expect, and this is not by chance. It is by design. As you move through your daily life, you are not just walking through the physical world, there is another, unseen realm at play. A spiritual realm that operates parallel to our physical existence, one that is fully governed by God's will. This realm is not chaotic or random, it is steady, purposeful, and constantly in motion, ensuring that the chosen ones are being guided, protected, and refined every single day. While many people are oblivious to the spiritual realm, you, the chosen one, are uniquely attuned to it. You have always known that something beyond the physical world exists, even before you had the words to explain it. It's as though you've had a quiet awareness deep in your spirit that there is something greater at work, something that has been nudging you forward even in the most difficult times. This sensitivity to God's voice, this inner knowing, is not something you simply learned, it is something you were born with, something that has been cultivated through every experience you've faced. When you encounter challenges, delays, or moments of confusion, it's easy to assume that you're walking alone or that your efforts are going unnoticed. However, what you might not realize is that these very moments are often God's way of fine-tuning your sensitivity to His will. These are the moments when heaven is watching, waiting to see how you will respond. Every pause, every detour, every unanswered prayer is part of a larger, divine orchestration. God is not absent during these times, He is actively shaping you, preparing you for the next step on your journey. Your life has been filled with moments that others might overlook, but for you, these moments carry weight. A seemingly random encounter, a small act of kindness, or a decision to hold your tongue when you wanted to speak, each of these moments is a test of your alignment with the divine. In these quiet moments of restraint, obedience, and mercy, you have participated in the unfolding of God's plan. Your sensitivity to the spiritual realm is not just for your benefit, it is a tool for God's greater purpose. You have been chosen because of your ability to listen, to follow the nudge of the Spirit, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. As you continue walking this divine path, know that you are not walking alone. You are being led, gently and faithfully, by God's hand. Every choice, no matter how small, matters in this spiritual journey. Heaven is fully aware of your every step, and it is actively working behind the scenes to ensure that you remain aligned with your divine purpose. Embrace this awareness, trust the process, and remember that every moment, no matter how insignificant it may seem, holds divine meaning. As a chosen one, it's important to understand that the world around you is not limited to what your eyes can see and what your senses can grasp. There exists an unseen spiritual realm that coexists alongside the physical world, shaping, guiding, and influencing your life in ways you may not always recognize. While most people walk through life oblivious to this reality, you, as a chosen one, are attuned to its presence and operation. The spiritual realm is not some abstract concept or a mysterious force, it is a real, active domain that works under the authority of God's divine will. The unseen realm is orderly and precise. It functions with purpose and under divine authority, and it is never chaotic. Unlike the unpredictable nature of the physical world, this spiritual dimension is fully governed by God's perfect order. It is a place where angels, those powerful and faithful servants of God, operate without wavering from their assigned purpose. Angels are not mythological beings or distant figures in religious texts, they are real, living agents of divine intervention, sent by God to guide, protect, and support His chosen ones. They carry out their tasks with perfect precision, ensuring that every action is in alignment with God's will. Angels do not act out of their own will, nor do they intervene randomly in the affairs of human life. Their every move is deliberate and directed by God's authority. This means that the spiritual realm is far from being a random, chaotic force. It is a system of divine order and action, specifically designed to interact with the physical world in ways that benefit God's chosen people. As a chosen one, you have probably experienced moments when you felt a subtle shift, a divine interruption that guided you or protected you from harm. These moments, though seemingly insignificant at the time, were not accidents. They were the result of God's angels working behind the scenes, adjusting outcomes and protecting you in ways that you may not fully understand. You may have encountered a situation where you felt an inexplicable delay that saved you from something dangerous, or perhaps there was a moment when a random conversation or encounter shifted your entire direction. These are not coincidences, they are orchestrations by the spiritual realm. God's angels, working under divine instructions, are constantly engaged in the world around you, ensuring that His will is being carried out with precision. What's most remarkable about the unseen realm is that it operates without making a spectacle. Angels do not announce their presence with flashing lights or dramatic interventions. Instead, they move quietly, subtly, and precisely. They influence the outcomes of events without calling attention to themselves. This is why, at times, you may not recognize the spiritual interventions happening around you. You may feel a nudge in your spirit to do something or refrain from something, and it may seem like just a fleeting thought. But that nudge is a sign of the unseen realm at work, guiding you with divine wisdom. In the spiritual realm, there is a perfect balance of order and action. While others may see only the visible world, you, as a chosen one, are aware that there is so much more happening just beyond what the eye can see. And this awareness is not something to fear but to embrace. You are being constantly supported, guided, and protected, even when you can't directly see the hands of God and His angels working. Your life is woven together with divine intention, and even the most mundane moments carry the weight of heavenly significance. Keep walking in faith, knowing that the unseen realm is just as real as the world around you, and it is actively working on your behalf. The divine path you walk is not always a smooth and easy road. It is often marked by seasons of isolation, silence, and personal struggle, but these are not signs of abandonment or punishment. In truth, they are the very tools God uses to refine and prepare you for your higher purpose. The process of spiritual training is a gradual one, shaped by the experiences that test your character, patience, and sensitivity to God's will. These moments of pressure and challenge are not designed to break you but to sharpen you into the person God has called you to be. Spiritual training is rarely dramatic or flashy. It does not come with loud declarations or outward signs of change. Instead, it is a quiet, often uncomfortable process that works deeply within your spirit. In many ways, the training is like the process of refining gold. The gold is heated and purified, and the impurities are slowly drawn out. Similarly, through life's trials, you are being refined. Your faith is tested not in moments of abundance or comfort, but in times of hardship and uncertainty. During these moments, you may feel alone, misunderstood, or even abandoned, but understand that these feelings are often part of the refining process. When you face isolation or periods of silence, it is easy to feel disconnected from your purpose or question whether you are on the right path. However, these quiet seasons are often when the deepest spiritual growth occurs. During these times, God is training you to listen more intently to His voice and to cultivate a deeper sensitivity to the guidance of the Spirit. You are being prepared for greater things, and this preparation cannot happen in the midst of constant noise or distraction. Just as a blade is sharpened through pressure and friction, your spirit is being refined through the trials and challenges you face. One of the key elements of spiritual refinement is learning to trust in God's timing. In a world that values instant results and quick fixes, God's methods are often slow and steady. The process may seem long, and you may grow impatient, but it is in this waiting that your character is shaped. Just as an athlete trains over time to build strength and endurance, so too are you being shaped through the quiet, hidden work of the Holy Spirit. These moments of delay, frustration, and even confusion are not obstacles but opportunities to learn patience, perseverance, and trust. Quick reactions: God is teaching you the value of waiting and listening before acting. Every decision you make, no matter how small, matters in the grand scheme of God's plan for your life. You have been taught to choose mercy over anger, patience over reaction, and obedience over impulse. This restraint is not a sign of weakness, but rather of quiet strength and divine wisdom. Your ability to pause and listen before responding is one of the greatest gifts you can offer to the world around you. Through these trials and tests, you are being prepared for greater responsibility. God does not entrust His chosen ones with more influence or spiritual authority until they have been shaped through these moments of quiet preparation. Every season of isolation, misunderstanding, and delay has been an opportunity for you to grow in wisdom and maturity. You are being trained to carry the weight of God's purpose in a way that is steady, humble, and aligned with His will. As you continue on this divine journey, remember that each step, even the most difficult ones, is part of your spiritual training and refinement. One of the most important aspects of walking the divine path is maintaining alignment with God's will. This alignment is not a one-time achievement but a daily choice to live in harmony with the spiritual realm and God's purpose for your life. While many people may be unaware of the spiritual forces at work around them, you, as a chosen one, are called to walk with a deep awareness of this unseen realm, allowing your choices and actions to be guided by divine order. Alignment with God is the key to accessing peace, protection, and clarity in your life. The path of divine alignment is built on obedience, not perfection. It is easy to fall into the trap of believing that you must have everything figured out or that every decision must be flawless. However, the truth is that God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for your heart's willingness to align with His will, even in the most mundane moments of life. Every decision you make, whether big or small, matters, because each moment carries eternal significance when viewed from a spiritual perspective. Aligning with divine order often means choosing to act in ways that may not always make sense from a worldly point of view. It may involve decisions that require restraint, mercy, or patience when others around you are reacting with impulse, anger, or frustration. It is in these moments that the spiritual realm watches, observing your response. The angels, who are constantly around you, take note of whether you choose obedience over reaction, humility over pride, and love over indifference. These seemingly small decisions are not small at all in the eyes of heaven. They are the moments that shape your spiritual journey and affect the outcomes of your life in ways you cannot always see. When you choose to align with God's will, even when it's difficult, something powerful happens in the spiritual realm. Divine order begins to unfold. The angels respond to your obedience, and the unseen realm moves in your favor. You may not always feel it, but when you make the choice to live in alignment with God's purpose, you create a spiritual permission for heaven to act on your behalf. Just as a door opens when it is unlocked, your obedience unlocks the door for God's will to move forward in your life. Sometimes, alignment can feel like a quiet, unseen process. You may not receive immediate rewards or accolades for choosing patience or restraint, but trust that every decision made in alignment with God's will is deeply recorded in the spiritual realm. Angels do not respond to loud acts of faith, they respond to steady, consistent obedience. God values the quiet moments when you choose mercy over anger, stillness over haste, and peace over conflict. These are the moments that truly reflect your spiritual alignment and draw heaven's attention. However, alignment does not mean you will never face challenges. In fact, it often means that you will encounter resistance from the world around you, as it tests your commitment to God's will. There will be times when your decisions don't make sense to others or when your actions seem out of place. People may misunderstand your choices, or you may feel that your efforts are unnoticed. But know this, the spiritual realm is always watching. Your obedience, even when it is unseen by others, is never unnoticed by heaven. Living in alignment with God's will means being obedient even when no one else is watching. It means making choices in the quiet moments, when the world is busy or distracted. God is not concerned with grand gestures or public displays of faith. He is concerned with your heart's posture, with your willingness to obey Him even when it's hard. When you choose to remain aligned with divine order, heaven is able to move with precision and purpose in your life. The more you align with God's will, the more you will experience His protection and guidance. It's in the stillness of obedience that divine order is established, creating a spiritual foundation of peace and clarity in your life. The path may not always be easy, but as long as you remain aligned with God, His angels will continue to guide, protect, and support you every step of the way. Stay grounded, stay humble, and stay obedient, because alignment with divine order is the key to experiencing the fullness of God's plan for your life. In a world that often glorifies speed, noise, and constant movement, the power of stillness and restraint can be difficult to understand. Yet, for the chosen ones, these quiet, disciplined moments are among the most powerful tools for spiritual growth and divine alignment. The ability to pause, to refrain from reacting impulsively, and to remain steady in the face of chaos is not a weakness, it is a deep strength that God values immensely. In fact, it is often through stillness and restraint that the most profound shifts in your spiritual journey occur. Stillness is not about inactivity or passivity. It is about creating space for the Spirit to work within you. In times of stillness, you are not merely waiting or doing nothing, rather, you are giving yourself the opportunity to listen deeply to God's voice. It is in the quiet moments, when you are not distracted by the noise of the world, that you can hear the gentle nudging of the Holy Spirit. These moments allow you to discern the path God has for you, rather than rushing ahead on your own terms. When you are still, you can feel the presence of the divine guiding you, offering clarity, and granting peace amidst confusion. Restraint, similarly, is a form of strength that often goes unnoticed. In a world that encourages instant gratification and emotional reactions, choosing restraint can be countercultural. Yet, it is through restraint that you are able to guard your heart, your words, and your actions in a way that reflects God's will. Restraint does not mean suppression or denial, it means choosing to act in accordance with divine wisdom rather than yielding to impulse or emotion. It is in these moments of restraint that your true character is tested. Will you respond with anger when provoked, or will you choose peace? Will you act out of impatience, or will you wait on God's perfect timing? Your ability to restrain yourself, to pause before reacting, is one of the clearest signs of spiritual maturity. The unseen realm is acutely aware of these moments of stillness and restraint. When you choose to remain calm and composed in situations where others might react hastily, you create a space for divine intervention. Angels are drawn to those who choose restraint because it mirrors the order and discipline of heaven. In moments of stillness, you give angels the opportunity to move freely, to guide you, and to carry out God's will without obstruction. When you choose to remain steady and obedient. Restraint also allows for a deeper connection to your inner self. It helps you distinguish between your own desires and God's desires for you. In moments when you hold back from reacting, you give yourself the chance to reflect on your true motives and desires. You learn to listen to your spirit, and in doing so, you grow more attuned to God's voice. Through restraint, you become less swayed by external pressures and more grounded in your purpose. You learn to value God's timing above your own impatience, to trust that He is in control even when things don't move as quickly as you might like. In many ways, stillness and restraint are acts of trust. You are trusting that God is at work, even when you can't see it. You are trusting that your decisions made in stillness and with restraint are aligned with His greater plan. These acts show that you believe God's timing is perfect and that His guidance will never lead you astray. When you choose stillness in times of confusion, and restraint when your emotions want to take over, you are choosing to trust in God's sovereignty and His ability to handle things beyond your control. As you continue to grow in spiritual maturity, you will notice that stillness and restraint become more natural. They are not things you have to force or strive for, they become part of your rhythm, a reflection of your trust and alignment with God. These quiet acts of obedience may not always be visible to others, but in the spiritual realm, they are highly valued. Heaven sees them, and they carry weight in God's eyes. So, the next time you feel the pull to react or rush ahead, remember the power of stillness and restraint. These moments are not wasted, they are the very moments that allow God's plan to unfold in your life with perfect precision and divine order. One of the most profound aspects of aligning with God's will is the subtle but powerful aftereffects that follow. These are not always immediate or visible, but they carry deep spiritual significance and influence your life in ways you might not even notice at first. When you remain aligned with divine order, choosing obedience, stillness, and restraint in the midst of life's challenges, something remarkable happens in the spiritual realm. Heaven responds quietly, but powerfully, and the ripple effects of your obedience begin to manifest. The first noticeable aftereffect is a deep, inner peace that begins to settle within you. As you remain aligned with God's will, you may notice a sense of calm even in the midst of chaos. This peace is not the absence of challenges, but the assurance that you are exactly where God wants you to be, and that His hand is guiding you through every step. The more you align with divine order, the less you will be shaken by the storms of life. You may find that situations that once overwhelmed you no longer have the same emotional grip. Fear and anxiety lose their hold, and you are able to move through life with a steady confidence that comes from knowing God is in control. Another powerful aftereffect of divine alignment is an increase in spiritual discernment. As you continue to walk faithfully, your ability to perceive God's guidance and understand His voice sharpens. You begin to notice things more clearly: what is true, what is not, what is aligned with God's will, and what is not. This heightened awareness extends beyond just your spiritual life. You will start to notice shifts in relationships, opportunities, and circumstances that you once overlooked. This clarity is a gift, and it allows you to make decisions with greater wisdom and insight. No longer will you be as easily confused or led astray, for your discernment will guide you as you continue to walk in alignment with God. You may have questioned certain moments in your life, the delays, the struggles, the times when you felt isolated or misunderstood. But now, with a clearer understanding, you can begin to see that these were not setbacks, they were necessary steps in your spiritual refinement. Every moment of stillness, every act of restraint, every decision to trust in God's timing rather than your own has led you to a deeper understanding of His will. You are being prepared, shaped, and refined to walk in a higher purpose, one that is unfolding with each choice you make in alignment with divine order. This understanding should bring you peace, not pressure. As you continue to walk forward, you do not need to strive or force outcomes. The divine process is one of steady, quiet obedience, choosing to listen when the world is shouting, choosing restraint when the impulse to act is strong, and choosing to trust in God's perfect timing over your own. You are not alone in this journey. Heaven surrounds you, guides you, and protects you in ways that go unseen but are no less real. The spiritual realm is constantly at work on your behalf, ensuring that your path is aligned with the greater purpose God has designed for you.